Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I'll share with you how to make a jumbo pants like this with elastic and inseam pockets. If this looks like what you're interested in, make sure you keep on watching. Please help to support this channel by liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you're yet to do so. With me here I have 2 yards of Ankara print, and that's what I used to make that pants you just saw in that video. So I folded this fabric. If you know Ankara, you know Ankara comes by 45 inches. And now I'm just trying to show you that the length of this fabric is 45 inches. And so I folded it. And to cut out for the front part, you just need to divide your round hip measurement by 4, and whatever I get, add 5 inches to it. So I cut out mine, and this is what I have for the front part, and there's the wrong part of the fabric I am marking on. So I ruled a line to mark as a start point, and I ruled 1.5 inches from the start point. This is going to be for my elastic case. I'm cutting my elastic band together with the trouser. So I want the full length of this short. Sorry, why am I saying short? I want the full length of this trouser to be 43 inches. And so I'm just going to mark that as well. So I marked at 43. From the elastic case, I marked 42 inches. Sorry. So I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. So 1 inch is going to be for my hemming allowance. So the next thing I'm marking here is my hip point. From my waist to hip is 8.5 inches. I mark that on this fabric like this. And the next thing I'm marking is my crotch line. And to get my crotch line, I simply divided by the round hip I'm working with by 4. And that gave me 10.5 inches. So because this is a palazzo pant, I added 1 inch to make it 11.5 inches. Because I need that place to be free. And yeah, because I'll be adding sewing at the crotch line, I had to add half of an inch to that to make it 12 inches. So this 12 inches mark is where I'll be working with. That's the point of working it as my crotch line. So to get my knee line, even though I did not use this eventually, I just placed 17 inches from my band line and I marked my knee points. So for this pant, I don't even need the knee line, that's optional. And since this elastic, this waist to have an elastic, I don't need to mark my waist divided by 4 on the waistline. So on the side, this is something I do because I would like to shape the sides of my trouser. I just mark about 1 inch to 1.5 inches on the side part of my trousers like this before I start taking my measurement. So it's from that line I'm going to mark my round hip measurement divided by 4. My round hip measurement I'm working with, I told you, is 10.5 inches, and I'm going to add 1 inch to that measurement for sewing allowance. This means I'll be using half of an inch on the center part and half of an inch on the side parts. So that half of an inch on both sides, and then the next thing I need to do is to get my crotch extension. And to get your crotch extension, all you need to do is drop down that measurement you have there on your crotch line like this, and take note of what you have on that line and divide it by 4. So I had 11.75 inches on that line, so I simply divided that by 4 and I got 2.9 thereabout, approximately 3 inches. So this is my crotch extension. Now I'm just going to connect it and create a crotch extension for the front bodice. And after that, I'm going to just drop down whatever I have like that. If I were to be doing a fitted pant, I would have created a curve to meet the knee line, but here I don't need that, so I just drop that down like that. And on this part where I told you I created this line, I'm just going to extend my the shape of the trouser to look like this. This is not so important though, because it still adds to the measurements and makes the trouser freer. In case you do not want anything like this, you can just ignore this part. Use the middle part of the fabric as the center. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out what I have now, what I have marked. So I'm cutting out on the crotch extension line like this. And I'm also going to trace out this part and divide the fabric. When you're making trousers, it's okay if you have pieces. There's no part that is going to be unfold. So I also cut on that line where I'll be using as my sewing allowance, my hemming allowance. And now this is the fabric, the other remaining part of the 2 yards. This is obviously bigger than the other one I used, so I'm just going to place my front pattern like this, making sure I have some excess at the crotch area, about 4 inches extra, and make sure that you have about 1 inch at the top part or 2 inches. This inches you're going to have extra at the top part depends on how big the person is. For my own size, I'm using 1 inch, and 1 inch is fine. But if the person is on a big side, you want to make sure you're taking this extension at the top part, making it up to 2 inches or 3 inches. And on that crochet extension line, I extended it by 3 inches, because whatever you have as your extension for the front, just extend it again at the back more, because we want the back of this trouser to be bigger. Since we have our butts behind us, you need your front back pattern to be bigger. So after doing this, now I'm going to connect from the waist point to that high point we have now that we've extended at the top area. Please note that this extension is only at the center of the trouser. The sides will still remain the same. Don't increase the height of the back, the sides of the back. Can you see that that point is still remaining the same? And the other side is going to remain the way it was. So take note of where I'm cutting out from. Only the center part is what is higher. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut, and I'm going to drop down the other part of the trouser. So I told you the sides will remain the same, the front pattern sides and the back sides will be the same. So I'm going to create some marks to help me know when I'm sewing, to avoid confusion. Since this fabric looks the same, the front and the right and the wrong sides look the same. And take note that that's the center where we have our crotch extension. That is where we have the center of the trousers, and this side here I have my tape is the side, and this is where our pockets will be. So now the sides of this pocket, I'm going to go down by about 3 inches, just so that I don't have any obstructions from the waist band, and I'm going to give that place a notch. That notch is going to help me when I'm sewing my pockets. It's very important to make those notches. So the next thing I'll do now is go ahead and draft out my pockets. Drafting out the pockets is really easy. All I need to do is just measure 8 inches, which is going to serve as the opening of the pockets. And after marking the 8 inches, I'm just going to create something that looks like this, and I'm going to cut it out like this. I'll create 4 more pieces that look identical to what I cut at first. Please make sure they are of the same size and the same shape. It's going to help you and save you stress when you are stitching. So after getting my pockets, you remember that notch we made? I'm just going to bring this pocket and place it on the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to stitch by 1/2 of an inch. So when I'm done sewing 1/2 of an inch, I'm going to turn over and top stitch to face the pocket area. So this is what it looks like after doing that, and you can see I gave it a top stitch. This is going to have prevent that part we sewed from flying out, and we're going to have a neat stitch that will be looking like this on the pocket opening. So you see that thing I did for that pocket, I repeated that process on all the other 3 parts we have on the other pieces we had. And after doing that, now this is what all of them look like. Make sure you're placing your pocket right sides to right sides and stitching by 1/2 of an inch. So this is what they look like, and I'm going to bring the front bodies and bring the back patterns like this. So make sure you're ironing when you're doing this. I did not have lights at the time of recording this video, and that's why I was not ironing as I was working. Please, that's very wrong. Just make sure you're ironing as you are sewing. So I placed the back crotch line like this together, and I'm going to stitch by 1/2 of an inch. So I'll also repeat the same process on the front part, and I'll bring it back to show you what it looks like. Make sure you're putting right sides facing right sides before you stitch. Also, when you're done doing this, make sure you open your seams like this and give it a very nice press. And now once I'm done joining at the crotch areas, I'm just going to bring the front and the back together like this. This is the front on the table, and I'm going to bring the back now like this and place it like this, front facing front. This is the front, and I'm going to place it facing the front side of the front part. It's okay if you see the back looking bigger. That is intentional. We made the back to be bigger. So I'm going to pin up like this, and you can see the importance of that notch that I made, because if you don't make these notches before you start attaching your pockets, you might find out that when you're about to stitch, you see that your pockets are not in alignment, and you need them to be aligned when you are about to stitch. So I'm going to pin up now, and I'll show you how the stitch is going to be made. So I'll start at the top part, and that 1/2 inch we kept for stitching allowance on the side. I'm going to do that, and when I get to the pocket, I'll go down on the pockets like this, follow the shape, come up like this, and raise my footer and put it back on the fabric, and I'm going to continue stitching to the bottom. By the way, I used a black fabric for my pockets because I did not have the Ankara fabric to use for the pockets. Okay, so this is what it looks like already, and I'm just trying to show you what the pocket area looks like. So the pocket area is going to be open when you fold that pattern I just showed you. So when you're done, just make some notches around it so that it's going to lay flat. So when you make your notches, just be careful so that you don't cut into the seam and loosen the dress. So I'm going to turn this to the right side now to show you what it looks like. And this is what it looks like on the right side. You can see where the pocket is. We have only one part now remaining to join, which is the bottom area of these trousers. And to actually do the bottom part, I'm going to turn it back to the back side. That's the front facing front, because we're going to stitch on the wrong side. So I'll match the front crotch and the back crotch like this, and then I'm going to stitch by 1/2 inch at the bottom area like this till I get to the down part. And when I'm done, I'll turn it over and repeat on the other side. The reason I'm pinning that is because I need the crotches to match when I'm done. So I cut out my elastic, and if you don't know how to attach elastic, I'm going to link a video where I've showed in detail how to attach elastic to your shirt or your trousers. If you found this video useful, please make sure you like it and give it subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do that. See you in my next video. Thank you for watching till this point, and bye.